it going, guys? Austin Laramie here from Zero to Hero Dog Training, and this will be part 2 to teach a dog or a puppy how to do a place command. So the first video we worked on teaching the initial command, and this video is geared towards how to teach the stay portion. So as you see, every time she gets off, I'm marking with my negative reinforcement marker, a marker that predicts leash pressure, but not a correction. And then I'm using the leash to put her back on. So once your dog understands the place command, and you can say place and they'll go on it, and they understand it pretty well in multiple different rooms or environments, then you can start working on the accountability. So what I mean by accountability, after your dog understands what the command is, now we add accountability, which means if I say the command and they don't do it, then I'm going to make them do it. And if they get off of it, I'm going to show them that's not what I want. So I don't teach a stay word. I teach that all the commands have an implied stay, which means that the dog must remain in that position or command until I release them. And as you see, I'm working on that with place right now. I'm teaching this in real time. She doesn't understand that she must stay on it yet. It's the first time she's seen this. I've been just working on the initial command since the last video. So we have a bit of a distraction here. We got got my dog and place. So what you want to do is you now want to say your place. You want to say your place command. And within a second, if your dog doesn't do it, you're going to use your leash pressure marker or your correction marker. Could be the word no. I use place. I use the word no, and just means wrong answer. I'm going to use the leash to fix it. It's not a correction. At this point, if your dog doesn't understand the stay, then you must not correct your dog. So for example, she doesn't understand she's not supposed to stay on it right now. So when she gets off, I'm not saying no and popping the leash, but I'm saying and then I'm using the leash to put her back on. Way big of a difference there. It's not a correction, but now there's accountability. I pull. So if you haven't watched my other videos, I'll give a little rundown. You want to separate everything in dog training. So what I mean by that is when I'm teaching sit with food and I'm luring the position, I'm not going sit, I'm going sit and then I move. So with that being said, when she hops off, I'm not going and pulling the leash at the same time. I'm saying and then I'm pulling the leash. So good. Here's what you want to start doing. Now that your dog knows the place command and will go on the place command with just the verbal alone, you don't have to use the food to help anymore. This is when you start adding the accountability. So, good. You're going to tell your dog place. 1, you still want to be pretty close to it. I'm not saying place and expecting her to go 10, 20 feet away. I'm right up on it. So you're going to say place. Either your dog is immediately going to get on it, in which case you can reward your dog, or your dog is not going to do it, in which case you're going to use a marker which predicts, leash pressure. Some people just use no for everything. Leash pressure, leash pops, doesn't really matter, but you want to have your marker that predicts wrong answer. You're going to say that one time, and then from there you're going to use your leash and you're going to put them back on. You could say the command again, but before you say the command again, you want to use your marker. So what I do is if she hops off, I say then I use the leash and I say place. Or I'll just use the leash, put her back on. Good. Yes. So here's what it'll look like. I'm going to say Nyla place. Pull her. Good. At this point, you still reward your dog when they do it. So I had to use leash pressure, but I'm still rewarding her when she does it. I'm using her continuation marker, good, it just means you get a reward, but it doesn't mean to get off. Good. So how you teach your dog to stay on is once they're on, one, you want to continuously reward them while they're on it. Good. So I'll go and I'll drop her leash once she can handle it. If your dog can't handle it, like when you drop the leash and they immediately get off, I'll keep holding the leash and I'll just, good, use my continuation marker, which again just means reward, but hold tight, and I'll walk around like this. Good. And as your dog stays on, I'm going to continuously reward it. Good. Don't get too greedy here. Start with a couple steps. Good. And always go back to your dog to reward them. A couple more steps. Good. And then I like to mix it up. So I'll do a couple steps. I have a terminal marker, which is the word YES, which means reward and release. So when I say yes, she knows that she can get up, come to me and get a reward. So I will mix it up. I'll reward her while she's on it, and I'll also reward her for staying on it for a certain amount of time. In the beginning, I don't expect her to stay on it for 5, 10 minutes, whatever. I'm just asking for 5 seconds, and then 10 seconds, 30 seconds. 30 seconds with a dog running around, 30 seconds when I throw a ball, different things, right? So again, I'm gonna say Nyla, place. Pull her on. Good. When she gets on, place. Good. I'm gonna reward her with my continuation marker. That's the word good. And I'm just gonna start walking around. Good. And I'm just gonna continuously reward her while she's staying on this. Good. Good. Now, if she hops off without me releasing her, I'm going to say one time, and again, I'm going to use the leash, and I'm going to put her back on. If she gets off and I didn't release her, and I have to fix it, I'm not going to reward the second she gets back on. The reason being is if you do that, it's going to teach the dog to offer the mistake in order to get the reward. So it'll look like this. I'm gonna wait for her to break it. So I'm gonna wait for her to kind of break the command. Because now that she's doing really good, she's not gonna break it, huh? So I'm just gonna, wait for her to break it here. And it may take a couple seconds. I may speed this part up. Because now all of a sudden she's doing awesome. So, just gonna keep talking to make her think that I'm distracted and not paying attention to her, and hopefully she breaks it. I'll show you what I do. Good. Gotta reward that. She's doing good now, so. All right. If your dog doesn't break it, you can still reward it. But hopefully she does break it so I can show you guys what I'm asking for. If not, if your dog is doing what she's doing and doing really good, then here's what I'll do. If she doesn't, because you want your dog to make the mistake so you can show them, not wrong answer. So the mistakes are good in the beginning. So again, if she's not making the mistake and she just stays on, then I'm going to do things that excite her to get her to break it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to either get a ball and I'm going to throw it. Place. Now I'm not rewarding her right when she gets on. Good. You see that? You want to have a bit of a delay. So, the initial, when you first tell her to place, if you have to correct it or, use leash pressure, if I say place and she doesn't listen within a second and I gotta fix it, the first time I'll reward as soon as she gets up. But after she's on it, if she breaks it without me releasing, I'm gonna say use the leash and fix it. And then from there, as soon as she gets back on, I'm not gonna reward her immediately. I can praise her, good job. But I'm not gonna reward her for about 5-10 seconds. Good. Then after that, I can continue to reward. You wanna switch it up though. You wanna reward her while she's on it, and you also wanna, release her as well. So, once your dog is doing really good with the leash in the hand, then I'm gonna drop the leash. If the second you drop the leash, your dog gets off, you're going to just pick up the leash, immediately say, pick up the leash, put them back on, right? Same thing. You want to start doing things here to get your dog to break it. So, I am going to grab this toy here, tail place. good girl. I'm gonna get her excited. Good girl, good girl, good girl. Yeah. And then once she's excited, I'm gonna throw it. And if she breaks it, I'm gonna say, I want to put her back, okay? Good girl. Place. Just like that. Now, once you find something that makes your dog make the mistake, you're gonna do that same thing until your dog stays. And then you're gonna reward. So I'm gonna get the toy. So drop it real quick. Let me see that. Sorry, bud. I'm using this for training. So, I'm gonna do that again. Get excited. Ready? Yes! Good! Good girl! Good girl! Cool. Just like that. Now the place. Good. So you want to start adding distractions. You want to start adding distractions that make your dog get excited enough to make the mistake. And I'm going to grab this for my dog. He kind of wants to chew on it. So just like that, right? I threw the toy. She broke it immediately. I fixed it. I threw the toy again. She stayed. Then I released her and rewarded her. I like the release and reward when they do really good, but I also could have went good and just gave her a reward for staying on. But I kind of like to do the release a lot more when I'm doing those types of distractions. I could have even released her and let her go get the toy as a reward too. That works as well. But you want to start adding distractions. It's important to note that you are there to see the very second your dog makes the mistake. Place. Like, for example, if I'm having her do this, and I go walk all the way to my kitchen, and she gets off, and I don't know she gets off, and then she gets to me, you're already too late, and you can't make the connection between you correcting it and putting her back and stuff. But I will still put her back, but she won't make the connection. You have about 1 second to influence a dog's behavior. So 1 second to reward something you like, and 1 second to fix something you don't like. So you want to be there to witness the second your dog gets off. Not 5 seconds, not 10 seconds after. Oh, I know, life's hard, girl. So, yes, I'm gonna release her, let her get some water. Good drink. So, you want to start adding distractions. There's 2 principles you want to follow once your dog knows the command. Not the stay part, but just the command in general. All right, that's enough. Don't throw up, girl. She has a tendency to just drink, and then she'll make herself throw up. So I don't let her just sit there and keep drinking. All right, now the place. Good. So 2 principles. 1, after your dog knows the command, you're gonna say it 1 time. If your dog doesn't do it, you're going to mark with your leash pressure marker, and you're going to make them do it. So once your dog knows sit and they don't do it, you're going to say or whatever your marker is, and you're going to use leash pressure to fix it, in which case you can still reward the second they do it. And the second principle is, anytime your dog breaks the command and you don't release them, you're going to immediately, again, use your marker that predicts wrong answer, whatever it is, and you're going to immediately fix it. Then you're not going to reward right when they are back in the position. You're going to delay it a little bit so that they don't learn that making a mistake gets them a reward. Yes! While you're teaching the stay portion of commands, place, you're going to continuously reinforce it. Good. So I use my continuation marker, which means I'm going to the dog to give them a reward, but not to get off. And I'm also going to release them. When you're using your terminal marker, which is your release and reward, I'm not going far away and then releasing her. I'm going all the way back to her. And then, yes, right? You don't want your dog to anticipate every time you leave that they get off. So, place, when you're adding distractions, make sure the distractions are adequate for the level of the dog. For example, I don't have 100 dogs around, or I'm not going to a dog park and doing this yet. I'm doing this in my home, doing this in different rooms. You want to generalize the command. So I'm doing this with the couch, the bed, that couch. I'm going outside and putting the place in the backyard. I'm putting a cot in the front yard. I'm going to PetSmart. And as she gets better at it, I'm going to slowly increase the difficulty of distraction. You want to also do stuff out of sight. So oftentimes I will tell a dog to place and I'll go behind a wall. and I'll wait for them to break it. The second they break it, and I fix it. And then I'll go behind the wall again. If they do good, I'll go to them, good, mark, and reward. So you want to show your dog different pictures. So they understand when you're not around, they gotta stay. When there's dogs around, they gotta stay. When a toy goes by, they gotta stay. When a squirrel goes by, they gotta stay. Different things. You can't go around just popping your dog's leash, and correcting them harshly for something they don't understand. So you must do this part slowly and take your time with it, and go to many environments and start teaching this. Make sure your dog is very familiar with the expectation. Once your dog will go back to the place after you say your marker, that's when you know you're ready to start adding leash pop corrections. So once she gets off in multiple environments, and when I say she'll go back on without the leash, I know I'm ready to correct it with leash pops. But I'm teaching this in real time, so won't be that for at least a couple days, maybe a week, right? But go and take your dog to multiple environments, use a lot of praise and rewards, and also fix it the very second your dog gets off, not 5 seconds later. Good. Add distractions, slowly increase them over time, do it in multiple environments, show them many different pictures, do it on multiple places, a rock, a log, a bed, a couch, different things. And your dog should learn this very fast if you do all these steps really correctly and you take your time, you're not just popping the leash as soon as they get off, right? I'm just using leash pressure, which isn't a correction, at least a harsh correction. It's just saying, hey, wrong answer, girl. Because she doesn't know this. So I'm not saying, you can't, if I don't know what 2 + 2 is and I get the answer wrong and you slap me in my face, that's not going to teach me it, right? So yeah, you can't do that. Even though, don't ever hit your dogs and don't ever yell at them. Yes. So, thanks for watching, guys. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Let me know any issues you're having with your dogs, and I'll be glad to make a video on it. That is how you teach your dog to stay on a place under all circumstances, any environment. As she gets good, I'll start making videos of showing you guys this in different environments, and I'll show you kind of me doing videos of me training in real time, just sessions with her out and about. But yeah, cool. Thanks for watching, guys, and you guys have a good one.